Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I hope everybody's doing well. Thank you so much for stopping by. Are you ready for Christmas yet? I think I am. I still have a couple of items I need to get, but they're Amazon items, and the nice thing about Amazon is that they always give you an estimated delivery time. So I know I'm not late, and hopefully I can get them purchased and sent out on time. But one thing I did finish is my Christmas decorating. I actually put up the tree this week, and boy, it was a lot of fun, but it took a long time. Now, if I hadn't sped up that film, you would have had to sit through a 2-hour video watching me put up those ornaments. As you can see, I absolutely load up my Christmas trees. I think I overdo it sometimes, but they turn out really pretty. So anyway, guys, today we're going to be making those gorgeous necklaces that you saw in the introduction. And they're all dainty necklaces and very sparkly and very appropriate for the holidays. And since I've had so many requests for dainty necklaces, I thought I would put together 3 of them today. I'm still waiting for the dainty trend to go away. I don't know if that's ever going to happen. Hopefully it will. I actually like to wear bigger pieces, but unfortunately in my area, I live on the East Coast, the women wear very dainty, tiny necklaces. Initially, I thought it was a bit ridiculous when it first came out several years ago. I think it's been more than several years. It's been at least 5 years. But anyway, now I've grown accustomed to dainty necklaces, and I actually like wearing them from time to time. Needless to say, today's tutorial is going to be super easy because dainty necklaces don't require a lot of beads. And I'm going to be using the beads that came in GGC's treasure bag. The name of her latest release is Santa's Treasures. And if you're not familiar with GGC's treasure bag, I'll leave a link down below so you can go check out the website, and I'll leave a little bit of information as well. Another thing that I'll leave down below is a list of all the materials and a list of the tools that I'm going to be using today. And don't forget that I always leave timestamps down below as well in case you want to skip forward to any portion of the video. Now before we begin, let me remind you to please subscribe to my channel if you haven't done it, because it really does help my channel and it helps me to stay motivated to create more videos for you. Another thing that helps my channel is if you leave some comments down below and give me a thumbs up. So anyway guys, I know you're anxious to see the tutorials, so let's go ahead, turn the camera around and we'll get started. And here we have GGC's treasure bag. The name of this bag is Santa's Treasures. This bag was released about 2 to 3 weeks ago, so obviously it's sold out. They pretty much sell out as soon as they get launched. But anyway guys, as you can see, the bag was filled with all kinds of gorgeous Christmas themed beads and components. And the nice thing about these bags is that you get tons of strands. So if you're looking to build your bead stash, this is the bag for you. I think this latest release had about 12 strands. Plus it had a whole bunch of loose beads as well. But anyway guys, we're not going to do an unbagging today. I'm just going to pick the beads that we're going to be using for today's necklaces. I did publish an unbagging on 1 December and I'll go ahead and leave a link down below for that. And if you're interested in getting future releases, what I recommend that you do is go to the website and sign up for notifications. I believe Gina sends out a notification a couple of days before she launches the bag. And like I said, I'll leave a link down below so you can go to the website. So let me go ahead and pick the beads for the first necklace. Here are the items for this necklace. These are from the GGC's treasure bag. I will be using a couple of other items that are not in the bag, but I wanted to show you these first. As you can see, we have 2 kinds of chain here. We have a gold and a silver. I thought I would use both of them in the focal section of the necklace. And because we're using 2 colored metals, we had a choice of these 10mm beads. These actually came in a gold and a platinum color, so you could choose either one and that would be fine. I decided to go with the gold ones. Let me show you what they look like. As you can see, they have a beautiful star pattern on the surface. And like I said, these are 10mm in size, and they came in a bag with 10 total, but we're only going to need 2 for this design. And then we have this gorgeous snowflake pendant. And isn't it adorable, guys? It has beautiful rhinestones in the center, as you can see. It measures 17mm across. If you include the loop, it's 22mm tall. And when I first saw this pendant, I knew I had to use it. I think it's adorable. And here we have a strand of cuboid beads. As you can see, they're clear with an AB finish. And I love the sparkle of these beads. These are absolutely stunning. But we're not going to be using too many of these. We're just going to sprinkle a few of them on the focal part of the necklace. And I'll show you how in just a few moments. We're also going to be using some head pins. And as you can see, I have 2 colors here. I have a gold and a silver color. And these are very thin head pins. And the reason I chose these is because we're going to be doing some wrap loops. Now, in addition to this chain, we're going to use some other kind of chain for the top portion of the necklace, and it's going to be a smaller link, as you can see, and this is actually called Figaro chain. It consists of some large links and small links in between. The large links measure 5.7 by 4.8 millimeters. I also have some jump rings here. These are 6 millimeters in size, and I have a lobster claw clasp. Now, to prepare the large beads, we'll need some wire, and I'm going to be using some 22 gauge wire by Bead, and I chose 22 gauge because we're going to be doing some wrap loops. And I almost forgot, we're going to need one more jump ring, and this one is smaller, and as you can see, it's in a gold tone. And I'm actually going to be using it on the Snowflake, which is why I chose gold. But you could very easily use a silver one if you wanted to, because we're using 2 colors of metals today. So to make things a little bit easier, let me just clear my workspace, and we'll get started with the focal part of the necklace. The first thing we're going to do is cut 4 pieces of chain. Each piece will have 10 links, and that's equal to about 2 1/8 of an inch. So if you're using a different kind of chain, you may have to adjust the number of links, but it all depends on how long you want the focal section of your necklace. Mine's going to be approximately 5 inches long, but you may want something different. Now, these links are actually open links, which is good because that means we don't need to cut them, we just open them up. Let me show you. I don't know if you can see the cut on the link, but whenever you see links that are open, please don't use your cutters because it'll just wear down your cutters. You can just open them up with pliers and separate the pieces that you need. So let me show you. Since these links are so big, I'm just going to count 10. And I'm going to open up the 11th one. And you would open them up just like a jump ring, just like that. So here's one piece with 10 links. As you can see, I cut myself 3 additional pieces. Let me show you how I'm going to arrange them. You can arrange them however you want, but this is how I'm going to do mine. To connect them, we're going to use 2 6mm jump rings in the middle. Let's go ahead and open one up. And these are pretty thick jump rings. We're simply going to hook on one of the links like this, and then the gold one. And now we're going to hook on these 2. So we'll put the silver one on the bottom, and then the gold one, like this. And now we need to close the jump ring. So this is what you should have. Now you don't have to attach another jump ring, but I'm going to go ahead and attach one because I feel like it gives it a little bit more security and it keeps these 2 strands from twisting around each other. So let's go ahead and open up this one. So now we need to connect it, but you need to make sure that you don't twist things around. So I'm going to go in like this. And now I'm going to hook up the gold one and then the silver one. And once again, we're going to close this jump ring. And this is what you should have. And now we're going to connect these 2 10mm beads, one on each side. For that, we'll need the 22 gauge wire. Let me straighten out my wire a little bit before I cut it. I'm going to cut myself 2 2.5 inch pieces. So let me show you how easy this is. The first thing I'm going to do is create a loop, and I'm going to grab the wire a little bit above where I think the bead's going to go, kink it, switch to this portion of my pliers, and I want this loop to be a decent size because I need to fit these 2 pieces of chain inside the loop. You'll see what I'm talking about in just a moment. And now I'm going to wrap the tail around the nose of my pliers, flip my pliers around, continue to wrap to the back, and this is what you should have. And I would say this loop measures about 4 millimeters in size. So now before we do the wraps, we need to connect the chain. Now before we connect the wire, we want to line up the 2 pieces of chain so they're not all twisted up. And now we're going to slide the links inside the loop like this. As you can see, both links are inside the loop. And now I'm going to grab the loop with some skinny pliers. Just like that. And with another set, I'm going to grab the tail and do a couple of wraps. You can do as many wraps as you want to. I usually do about 2.5, something like that. And now using some flush cutters, I'm going to cut off the excess wire. And it's important that you tuck in any little sharp end that you see sticking out. So this is what you should have. Now we're going to thread on the bead. And I'm going to do a loop here, but I'm not going to close it because we need to attach chain at the top of the necklace. So I'm going to prepare it with a loop, just like I did at the other end, but I'm not going to do the wraps. I'm simply going to leave it open like this. So this side is done. And now I'm going to do this side the exact same way. As you can see, I've attached both beads. Now before I attach the snowflake pendant, we're going to add a few dangles to this. I'll be using my head pins, and these are the ball head pins. And I'll be using the cuboid beads. So let me show you how easy this is. I'm simply going to thread on a cuboid bead like this. And now we're going to do a wrap loop. So I'm going to grab the pin at the top of the bead like this, kink it, move to this part of the wire. I don't want my loop to be very big, so I'm near the tip again. I'm going to grab the tail, wrap it around the tip of my pliers, flip my pliers around, and continue to wrap to the back like this. And now let me show you how I'm going to connect it. I'm simply going to slide one of these links into the open loop, and it really doesn't matter which one. Just like that. I'm going to grab the loop with my skinny pliers, and now with my needle nose pliers I'm going to grab the tail and do a couple of wraps. Snip off the excess. And if you see a little tail like that, you need to tuck it in. So let me go ahead and tuck it in. So this is what you should have. And like I said, it really doesn't matter where you connect the dangles. You can connect them on the lower piece of chain or the upper piece. The only thing you want to do is you want to make sure that they're evenly spread out. And I think what I'll do is maybe connect another 11 for a total of 12. So 6 will be on a gold head pin and 6 will be on silver. As you can see, I prepared some ahead of time and I connected a couple of more dangles. But let me show you one more time. I'm simply going to slide the link inside the loop of the dangle like this. And now I'm going to grab the loop with my skinny pliers, grab the tail and do a couple of wraps. Snip off the excess pin and tuck in whatever little end is sticking out. And that's all there is to it. It's pretty easy. So now I'm going to go ahead and speed up the film and connect the rest of these, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. As you can see, I've attached all the dangles. And as you can see, I did it in a very random fashion. I did end up adding a couple more dangles. I think there's a total of 16. But you can add as many as you want to, or you can have fewer dangles if you want to. The whole idea is to make it look random and give it an icicle kind of vibe. So now we're going to attach the snowflake pendant. Here it is. And here's a 4mm size jump ring. And this is super easy. We're simply going to open up this jump ring, connect it to the pendant, and then connect it to these two jump rings like this. And now let's close it up. So here it is connected, and I think it looks adorable. So now we're going to finish the necklace with some additional chain. I cut myself 2 pieces of the Figaro chain, and guys, you can use any kind of chain. It doesn't have to be Figaro. Here are 2 jump rings. They're 6mm in size, and here's a lobster claw clasp. So let me show you how easy this is. I'm going to take the link of the chain and I'm going to slide it into the open link of this beaded component like this. I'm going to grab the loop with my skinny pliers, grab the tail, and do a couple of wraps. Snip off the excess, tuck in the little end, and that's all there is to it. So now I'm going to connect this end. So now that we've connected the chain, we need to connect the clasp, and that's super easy as well. We're going to open up this jump ring, hook it onto this side of the necklace, and now I'm going to connect the lobster claw clasp, close up a jump ring, let's open up this jump ring now. And I'm going to connect it to the other end, close it up, and this necklace is finished. And tell me that's not adorable. I think it's super cute. I love the 2 colors of metal, and I love the sparkle of the dangles. And I know you can't tell because it looks different on my board, but you'll see later on when I model the necklaces how nice it is. It's actually a little on the dainty side. So let's go ahead and move on to the next piece. Here are the items for the next necklace. As you can see, I have 2 different colored metals again. And yes, I do have a toggle clasp in 2 colors. I just thought it would look interesting to have the bar portion in gold and the ring portion in silver. But if you want to do it all in one color, that's fine. It's up to you. In addition to these items, I'm going to use some chain. And I'm going to use this chain from my stash. It's a twisted oval chain, but it's smaller than what came in the bag. I think these links measure 3 by 5mm, something like that. I've cut myself a 16.5 inch piece. I want my necklace to be about 17 inches, which is right around the collarbone. But if you want something longer, of course you'll need a longer piece. I have some gold jump rings. There's a total of 5 there, and they're 4mm in size. And I have one silver one here, and it's also 4mm in size. Let's go ahead and open up this jump ring. And now I'm going to connect the silver snowflake to it. And I'm going to connect it to the ring portion of the toggle clasp, like this. Let me close it up. So that's what we have so far. And now I'm going to connect 3 of these jump rings together. These gold ones. Let me open it up. I'm going to connect it to this jump ring, and then I'm going to connect the snowflake to the jump ring as well and close it up. And now let me open up another jump ring. I'm going to connect it to this jump ring like this, and now I'm going to connect the jump ring to the ring of my toggle clasp. Let me close it up. So this is what we have so far. Super cute and super easy to make. And now all we have to do is connect the chain, and that's easy as well. open up this jump ring. I'm going to connect it to the loop of the ring portion of the toggle clasp. And now I'm going to connect this end of the chain, just like that. Close it up. So this end is connected. And now we're going to connect the bar portion of the toggle clasp. Let me open up this jump ring. Connect it to the loop of the bar. And now we're going to connect this end of the chain like this and close it up. And look how cute this necklace is. It's definitely trendy, and I would say it's a little on the dainty side. I know it's difficult to tell laid out on the board like this, but once you see me model it, you'll see how dainty it is. But the best thing about this necklace is that it's super easy to put on because the toggle clasp is in the front, which I really love. So now we're going to move on to the third necklace. And here's the bead we're going to be using from GGC's treasure bag. As you can see, it's a beautiful flat rondelle. What I like about this bead, guys, is the beautiful faceting. Look at the gorgeous faceting. It's actually called golden electroplated, and it's obviously because it has some gold, as you can see, but I'm also seeing some other colors. It's really beautiful. I love this bead. The bag came with a total of 5, and initially I was going to use 3 of them in this design, but I thought I would keep it simple and just use 1. So this necklace is definitely going to be on the dainty side. For the chain, I thought I would use this chain. These links are pretty small. They're 2 by 3 millimeters. And here's a piece that's 16.5 inches long. I want this necklace to be at the collarbone as well. By the time I add the jump rings and the lobster claw clasp, it should be around 17 inches. Here are a couple of jump rings. These are 5 millimeters in size. And here's a lobster claw clasp. I've cut myself a piece of wire, and this is 22 gauge wire again. And I'm going to do the same thing as I did before. I'm going to do a wrap loop. So once again, I'm going to estimate where the bead is going to go, and I'm going to grab the wire right above it, like this. Kink it. Switch to this portion. And I don't want my loop to be very big, so I'm near the tip again. I'm going to take the tail now and wrap it around the nose of my pliers. Flip my pliers around. Continue to wrap to the back. Just like that. Now before I do the wraps, I need to attach it to the chain. So let me go ahead and cut this piece in half. The best way to find the center is to thread a head pin through the last link like this. And now I'm going to thread the head pin through the link at the other end. Like this. And this is just an easy way to find the center link. So now I'm going to go ahead and cut that link. And here are my 2 pieces. So now that we have the 2 pieces, we're going to connect this piece of wire. I'm going to slide the link of the chain into the open loop that I just made. Like this. And now I'm going to grab the loop with my skinny pliers. And grab the tail and do a couple of wraps. Snip off the excess wire. Tuck in the little end that's sticking out. And now we're going to thread the bead onto the wire. Like this. Grab the wire at the top of the bead, line up the bottom loop, kink it, switch to this portion of my pliers, wrap the tail around, flip the pliers around, and continue to wrap that tail to the back. Just like that. And now before we close this loop, we need to attach the other chain. Let me just open this loop a little bit to make it easier. And I'm going to slide the link into the open loop like this. Grab the loop. Grab the tail and do a couple of wraps. Snip off the excess. And now let me tuck in the little end. And this is what we have so far. Pretty cute, huh? Definitely dainty if you like that kind of thing. I actually like it. I like to wear dainty from time to time. So now all we have to do is attach the lobster claw clasp. Let me open up this jump ring. Connect it to one end of the chain. Like this. Close it up. And now let me open up this jump ring. Connect the lobster claw clasp. Like this. And now connect the other end of the chain. And close it up. So this one's done. So here's our dainty necklace. And I know this one was ridiculously easy, but I've been asked many times by viewers to make something dainty, and I didn't want to disappoint them. Plus, this is a great project for the beginner. And if you're looking to make quick and easy gifts, you can't go wrong with this design. You can literally make it in less than 15 minutes. So here are all three necklaces, and aren't they adorable? I absolutely love them. I think my favorite is probably this one though. I love that one. They're definitely very festive looking and very sparkly, but at the same time, they're not overwhelming because of the size. Like I keep saying, it's difficult to tell when they're on the mat like this. And even if I put them on a necklace display, you wouldn't be able to tell the scale. So what I would like to do is go ahead and put them on. So let me do that and I'll be right back. Well, which one did you like? I actually like the one with the toggle clasp. I really like the scale of it. I love that it's simple, and I like that it's dainty. This one's dainty as well, but I think my favorite is the one with the toggle clasp. I guess it depends on the occasion. This one's more on the formal side, whereas the one with the toggle clasp is a little bit more casual, and the one with a single bead can be worn to any occasion. I actually love all three, to be quite honest. But anyway, guys, I would love it if you would leave some comments down below and let me know which one you like the best. I'm definitely going to have to make some earrings to go along with them because there are plenty of beads left over to do that. I hope you enjoyed today's tutorial. I hope I've inspired you. Go out and make your own necklaces. Thank you so much for watching. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's if I don't see you. I'm looking forward to seeing you again. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time. Bye.